From Georgia, Ms. Greene.
That was quite entertaining from someone that had a sexual relationship with a Chinese spy, and everyone knows it. But
I
thanks
move
for
to take our
entertaining
words
us.
down. Completely inappropriate.
Yeah, stand by just a second while we research the rule. Give me just a second.
I need to make sure I have my full 5 minutes.
A motion has been made. The committee will suspend, and the gentleman will state the words that he wishes taken down.
Everything that the gentlelady from Georgia has said.
No, you need to be more
The
specific. Mr. Gold.
accusations of an affair with a Chinese spy, those are engaging in personalities, and those words should be taken down, and the gentlelady should not be able to speak anymore in this hearing.
That is not an appropriate motion, but we will evaluate the striking of those words. Give me just a second. The chair recognizes the gentlelady from Georgia and asks if she would like to retract those words.
No, I will not.
For those members who are wondering, we are looking into Clause 1 of Rule 17 and the Rules of the House. Okay, the chair rules that those words that were spoken are not going to be stricken from the record.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chairman.
The gentleman from Mississippi is recognized.
I don't think there's any question about what the gentlelady said. I've been on this committee from day one. We've never had an accusation made of any member like that. And I'm appalled at it. We all ought to be embarrassed at it. We are a better committee than what the gentlelady is trying to make of this committee. So I appeal the ruling of the chair.
The ruling of the chair has been appealed. We will now, gentleman moves.
Mr. Chairman, a point of order.
Yep.
Right over here. Could you explain what part of those words are not engaging in personalities and what the basis of your ruling is?
No, we're going to let the vice chair take over the committee at this point. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I move to table the motion.
There's been a motion to table. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed say no.
No.
In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and the motion to table is agreed to.
Mr. Chair,
The gentleman is recognized.
I request a recorded vote.
A recorded vote has been requested. Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Chairman, would the gentleman from New York, Mr. Goldman, yield?
The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. McCall.
Aye.
Mr. McCall votes aye. Mr. Higgins. Mr. Guest. Mr. Bishop. Mr. Jimenez. Mr. Pfluger. Mr. Pfluger votes aye. Mr. Garbarino. Ms. Greene. Aye. Ms. Greene votes aye. Mr. Gonzalez. Aye. Mr. Gonzalez votes aye. Mr. LaLota. Aye. Mr. LaLota votes aye. Mr. Ezell.
Aye.
Mr. Ezell votes aye. Mr. D'Esposito. Ms. Lee.
Aye.
Ms. Lee votes aye. Mr. Luttrell. Mr. Strong. Mr. Burkeen.
Aye.
Mr. Burkeen votes aye. Mr. Crane.
Aye.
Mr. Crane votes aye. Mr. Thompson.
No.
Mr. Thompson votes no. Ms. Jackson Lee. Mr. Payne. Mr. Sawlwell.
No.
Mr. Sawlwell votes no. Mr. Correa. Mr. Carter.
No.
Mr. Carter votes no. Mr. Tanadar. Mr. Magaziner. Mr. Ivey.
No.
Mr. Ivey votes no. Mr. Goldman.
No.
Mr. Goldman votes no. Mr. Garcia.
No.
Mr. Garcia votes no. Mrs. Ramirez?
No.
Mrs. Ramirez votes no. Mr. Menendez?
No.
Mr. Menendez votes no. Ms. Clark?
No.
Ms. Clark votes no. Ms. Titus? Mr. Higgins? Mr. Guest? Mr. Bishop? Mr. Jimenez? Mr. Garbarino? Mr. D'Esposito? Mr. Luttrell? Mr. Luttrell votes aye. Mr. Strong? Ms. Jackson Lee? Mr. Payne? Mr. Correa? Mr. Tanadar? Mr. Magaziner? Ms. Titus?
Are there other members in the room who wish to have their vote recorded? Clerk, how am I recorded?
You are not recorded.
The chair votes aye.
Chairman Greene votes aye.
The clerk will report the tally.
Mr. Chairman, on that vote, there were 11 yeas and 9 noes.
The ayes have it, and the motion is agreed to. The previous motion is tabled. The gentlelady from Georgia is recognized, and we will give her the time when the clock was stopped, and we'll give you an extra 10 or 15 seconds.